guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you my August plan with me. So first up, I want to say I am filming this super in advance, as you will see when I show you the flip through for July, because I will be on vacation. So by the time I actually post this, I will already be in the United States. So I just wanted to get this done super early so that I would have videos to post for you guys. So let's dive in. So you guys might remember from my last plan with me that my goal for July was to do as much in Spanish as I could, and in some ways I succeeded and in other ways not so much, and I'll kind of explain how and why as I go through this flip through. So first up, we have my quote page and my July intro page. I still really like how this one came out actually. My calendar, same as usual. To be perfectly honest, it's the summer, so I don't have as much going on in my tasks and my upcoming month as I normally do during the school year, but I do still like to have a visual representation of my month. I find it very helpful to kind of keep me on track. Gratitude, I did do my gratitude completely in Spanish, obviously aside from names, but I really like how this is turning out. I do still have some space to fill in. I really liked having the gratitude in Spanish. It made me look up a couple of words that I wasn't maybe 100% sure how to say, so that was really helpful. Snippets, also completely in Spanish. I am incredibly proud of myself. I have, however, been finding that I will sometimes write a little bit less than I normally would, or I will change what I had planned to write just to make it so that it's something that I actually know how to write in Spanish, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Part of learning how to speak another language is figuring out how to say what you want to say with the vocabulary that you actually have. So I thought that this was a really good exercise, and I'm really glad that I did it and am still doing it. My reading and tracker. So July, I've kind of been catching up on my reading, let's just say. I am currently filming this on the 18th of July, and I've got 3 books out of the 4 that I'd like to do for the month, so I am on track. Just I didn't get as much reading done as I thought I would, given that I was basically on vacation. Oh well. Tracker, habits, and money goals. These are going pretty well as well. I am going to make some changes to this for August, however, because yeah, I think it's time. The habits especially are not working out as well as I would like to, so I think I'm going to change those up because it's just kind of making me feel bad. And then we have my trip planning spread and my packing list. I also did a language spread, so this is based on a blogger that I follow who is a hyper polyglot. And one of the exercises he suggested doing was to write out a list of the languages I want to learn and the languages I don't want to learn, and go through the top 25 spoken languages in the world. And basically, if it was something that you had heard of and you were interested in learning, it goes on the I want to learn side. If it was a language you had never heard of, or if you didn't feel any particular attachment to learning it, then it would go on this side. And I actually went through and added in my own notes for languages that I already speak and or study. And again, the languages on this side, I don't like excluding languages because, to be honest, this can change. There's some languages that I might be interested in learning, but they're just not as high on the list, and I have so many that I'd like to learn that I had to kind of draw the line somewhere. But if you see a language on here that you're like, oh, but that's a really cool language, I totally agree. I would love to learn it, but I have to be kind of realistic about what I'm going to be able to do in my lifetime, unfortunately. So, but anyway, that was kind of a fun spread that I did. And my first weekly. So, off to a rocky start already. I literally did not even realize this until somebody pointed it out to me when I posted this picture on Instagram. Like, my brain was like, yeah, that's totally Tuesday in Spanish. Just kidding. So you'll see that sometimes my brain gets ahead of me. This first week, I did try to do my tasks in Spanish as well. So on a daily or on a weekly level, I did try to do everything in Spanish, and it worked for a bit. I believe, yep, I pretty much lost it on Sunday. It lasted approximately 6 days. And, you know, I knew it would. I've done this experiment before. I used to alternate weeks much more frequently in my bullet journals previously, and that was why I had never done a month level one, so I wanted to try that, but I knew that at a certain point, the tasks, it's something that I do in English, or sometimes I'll have things that'll show up on here in French potentially because I live here and there are certain things that I do on a daily basis, but for the most part, my day-to-day tasks are going to be in English, and my brain is going to want to get them down rapid logging. My brain wants to get them down as fast as possible, and it's going to eventually come out in English. So I kind of knew that I had set myself up to, I don't want to say fail, because I kind of knew it was going to happen, but I had set myself up to not actually have absolutely everything be in Spanish. However, I did continue what I could. So I had an updated emails and happy mail spread. This is one that I just update as soon as I kind of fill out an old one, I'll update it. And we have my second week. So I was much better. I did keep all of my headers in Spanish. You'll notice that I don't actually do week in Spanish because I like the abbreviation and it was just easier for me to do it that way. But I did keep all of my headers, so the day and the date are still in Spanish. All of my tasks, however, for the most part, are pretty much back in English. I had a couple, like here, I tried to do it in Spanish, but meh. And let's see, going on through, pretty standard. I have my trip prep spread, well, trip prep, hard to say. Anyway, my trip prep spread, so the things that I wanted to do this upcoming week, so in the current week, that I wanted to get done before I left on my trip, so I just created a little spread for this, and I've been checking them off as I do them, which this is #1 on the list, and I'm currently filming that, so yay, go me! And we're up to my current week. So again, still with the one-page weekly, still with the pretty standard dailies. I actually had to do this morning because I did not set up my day last night, and so I totally just realized that I hadn't put the date in, but I can do that later. I have my summer projects brain dump. So I actually posted a picture of this on my stories, and this was, I had sat down, and so I've been doing morning pages first. I've been doing morning pages, and one of the things I did one morning was I sat down and I listed out a bunch of summer projects that I really wanted to work on. And then after I finished my morning pages, I wrote them out in another random scratch paper notebook because I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do with the list. I wasn't quite ready to do it in my bullet journal at that point, but I had written it out and it was like pages long. And I had my old brain dump from in here. I had other notes in my Sidekick bullet journal, which is the little A5, oops, here we go. This is my Sidekick bullet journal. It's a little A5 like term in emerald, and I keep other running lists in there. And eventually it just got to be so overwhelming. I wanted them to be in one place. I had things in TickTick. I had things like all over. So I sat down yesterday and I did this massive summer projects brain dump. So everything that I kind of had on my mind that I wanted to try and get done this summer while I had some more free time went on here. And it's kind of overwhelming, to be perfectly honest. I need to figure out how to like go through this and actually tackle bits of this so that I can get it done and not just look at this and see a massive list of things to do. I'm working on that. And then it's blank. So what I did is I counted out pages for the rest of the month. I'm hoping that it'll be okay, but I really can't do this any other way because I'm not going to bring all of my stationery supplies with me when I go to the US. I want to bring a limited number of brush pens and normal pens. I only want to have, you know, 1 or 2 notebooks, which I'll probably end up having more, let's be honest, but I'm not going to have all of my pens at my disposal. I'm not going to bring my tripod, for example, so I won't be able to film YouTube videos while I'm there. So I needed to get August set up because I'm coming back August 1st, and I wanted to have it done. So counted out basically 2 dailies per page. So this is what, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I gave myself room for Sunday, and I've got an extra spread, which I figure if I don't use it for dailies, because for example, I'm flying to the US on Friday, I won't have very much going on. It'll basically be trip information on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday I'll be in the US. So there's a good chance that my dailies will be super short, if not non-existent. So I will use any extra pages that I have for either lettering or collections or what have you. The pages will get used, but I just didn't want to shortchange myself too much. Then I went ahead and I set up next week, and I set this up as my standard vacation spread, or at least my newer version of it. So I did this back in June. Let's take a look. So I did it back in June, and I basically just copied the same spread. I just set this up, so I haven't even finished filling everything out. I filled out the main parts of the headers, but I actually have to put the dates in on my dailies. Then I have the upcoming week, so this would be for week 31. And I want to do a KonMari in my room at my parents' house, so I just wrote down all of the tasks that I need to do for that. I have my tasks, and this particular box, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I'm debating if I want to do... Honestly, I have no idea. So I'm leaving it blank for now. We'll figure it out later. And then I thought that I would do journaling. And again, if I don't finish, or if I don't use all the pages for journaling, then I will use them for collections. So I gave myself roughly 2 days per page-ish. So the last time I did this, I got about 3 days, where am I even going? I got about 3 days of journaling. Oops. On a spread. So, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I had a second spread for that. And I actually had, when I did this, I had an extra spread. So this was when I did my summer bucket list. So I basically just counted out the same. I said roughly 3 days of journaling, maybe another 3 days of journaling, and whoops, hold on a second. Did I count that right? Please tell me I did. So 3 days of journaling, 3 days of journaling. No, I didn't. And this is why we use stickies, people. So I'm just going to shove all of this back one. So I wanted to give myself 3 full spreads after my weekly, so that I would have plenty of room if I came up with any spreads I wanted to do, because I would be away, so I might have ideas for things that I want to work on. So if I don't use all of the room for journaling, I still have some room to do collections and what have you. So 1, 2, 3 full spreads for next week. And then we get into August. So before we take a look at this, I'm actually going to stick a piece of paper in as a bookmark. So we're going to take a look at my August planning page. So for August, I want to do my whole monthly in Italian. However, I am straight off the bat acknowledging that I will not be doing my daily tasks in Italian. I just want to do the headers. I would like to do gratitude in Italian as well, and that might be it, if we're being honest. In August, I am planning to change things up a little bit. I noticed that I just had too much going on in July, and so my morning routine was getting ridiculously long because of all of the things that I wanted to do every single day. So I'm trying to condense that. So for August, I do want to have a quote, and I've actually already picked out the quote and written it right here. I'm doing very short ones because I don't want to screw around with it taking too long. And I also like the look of more spread out quotes and not having them be so tightly condensed because it's such a long quote. And I will have my intro page, which I kind of want to do something fun, but I'm just not sure what yet. So we shall see, but I will do the lettering of this quote on camera. Next, I have my calendar as usual, and I've actually written out, so tasks and September in Italian, just to remind myself when I'm actually going through and doing this. However, because of the changes I'm making, I do not currently have anything for this page. And I'm toying with the idea of maybe pre-setting up my email and Happy Mail spread just so it's at the beginning of August. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see. Next up, I'm actually going back to doing memories. So I'm giving myself 1 page to do memories, which I've written the word for it in Italian up here, and I'm doing 1 page gratitude, and I am going back to my old style where I write roughly a line a day, but I basically just start at 1, write whatever I want, and then I'll write the 2, so it'll be a solid block of text, and I am planning to do this in Italian. Memories, I'm not so sure. It depends what happens during the month, but it might be in English, to be honest. So those 2 are kind of the bigger changes for this month. And then I will have my reading goals I'll do the header in Italian like I did it in Spanish for this month, and tracker. And this is the one that I am going to switch up a bit. So I'm reducing the number of things that I'm tracking, and I actually pulled 2 of those things out to make habits. So I'm changing the habits that I'm doing. So the 2 habits I want to do are my morning pages and my kana a day, so my learning the Japanese alphabets. And the morning pages, my 6-week challenge will actually be up on August 12th, if I recall. However, I would like to keep doing it, so I thought it would be nice to have the habit for that. So I kind of reorganized, and to be honest, I could put it all in the tracker, but I like the look of having the habits. I think it makes me look at them more, so I thought that this might be an interesting way to play around with that. And that will be my August setup. I'm keeping it pretty simple. I am not planning on doing any challenges in August at this point because I really want to try and reduce my morning morning routine because it was just getting too crazy. So let's get started. All right. As usual, I am going to skip my intro page for the moment, and I'm going to start with the monthly. I don't know why, I just really like doing that. And that is August. So this was the proverb that I chose. So it's essentially August matures the fruit and September harvests them. And then I just have August. So what I did is I knew it was going to be a fairly short proverb. So I kind of kept it all up at the top while still giving myself plenty of space. And then I had a lot of space at the bottom, so I did just write down that it was a proverb. And instead of doing my title for August up at the top or in the middle, I basically just mirrored the empty space and did it in there. So I had thought about doing some kind of doodle or watercolor or what have you, but I think for now I'm going to leave it because I like how it's got this mirror of basically filled space and blank space on the 2 pages. So here is my intro page for the month of August, followed by my calendar. And again, my calendar is very simple. I haven't filled in anything yet, but you guys know I don't really do any color coding on this, so it's just a functional calendar. I've got my tasks and September, and I totally miscounted. I should have had 2 blank spaces, but oh well, it still looks okay. And I squished September a little bit, but you know what? That's what happens. And because I didn't have a lot of space anywhere else and I wanted to use the Tombow, oh, I completely forgot. So my colors for the month of August, if you couldn't tell, it is this Tombow pen. So it's the 905, and I want to say it's like persimmon or something random like that. But I thought that that went nicely with the other colors that I already had in here. And because I knew some things were going to be too big to do with a Tombow, I also picked my red Pentel Touch. So in order to fit Tombow lettering with the month of August, I did it sideways. And that was a space reasoning issue. This one is still empty. I'm still not 100% sure what I want to put here. I have a feeling it's going to be an email and happy mail spread, but I'm going to leave it blank for the moment. Next up is memories and gratitudes. You'll notice I did do both of the headers in Italian for this one. Hopefully I did them correctly. If you are actually Italian and I did them incorrectly, I apologize. I did Google Translate for the words I didn't know. Oh well. Anyway, so this is going to be similar to my old memories page, which I haven't done in a while, where I just pick highlights of the month and either letter or doodle or what have you in here. I usually do add a dashed line at the top and the bottom to separate. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that this time or if I'm just going to kind of leave it free form. We'll see how it goes. This is going to be for gratitude, and like I said, I'm going to do it the same way that I do my snippets, where I basically start at the left and then whenever I end, I write the next number. So I'm going to do that, and I have a feeling I will be using my red Inkjoy gel pen for this. I just haven't pulled it out yet, but that's what that will look like. Next is reading. So I have my reading goals for August, and I haven't filled any of this in yet, but if we look at my calendar, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll put down roughly 5 books. And that's just kind of a ballpark for me because I tend to like to read more if I have the time, less if I'm busy, but that's just kind of the ballpark to know that I'm on schedule. And I will leave this basically blank until I finish out July. So once I know which books are going to get migrated over here, then I'll fill that out. Next up is tracker, habits, and money goals. I left tracker in English because the word in Italian was way too long for me to be able to fit on here, and I wanted to actually letter, so that was the only reason that that one is in English. So you'll notice that I have far fewer things to track than I normally do. I believe I have 7, and I think last month I counted and I had 11. So I'm hoping that that will kind of, having fewer to fill in, I'm hoping that will help me just not feel quite so overwhelmed with all of the things that I wanted to get done, especially in the morning. So we'll see how that goes. And I used to have my morning pages and my Kana a day over here. Let's take a look. Where are you? Nope, next page. There we go. So I had my morning pages and my Kana a day, and I actually think I'm going to continue doing my Kana a day where I actually write the Kana in rather than just doing a dot. I think I will continue doing that because it's a good way to help me remember and to practice writing it very tiny. But otherwise, I'm going to do my morning pages, and I have dropped flossing and moving. That is not to say that I want to stop doing them. I just don't want to track them right now. I needed a break. And again, once I finish out July, I will move over objectives. I also will be in full summer swing, so I'm going to probably start thinking about things for September and what have you, so I'm going to just leave that blank until I figure out what I want to put there once July is finished. And that's the end. Yeah, August is going to go by really quickly, I have a feeling. I'm going to need to start planning for the school year, and so that is why I didn't want to have as much. I didn't want to track as much or do as many things, so I really am just doing the bare bones of what I usually do every month. And I also, knowing that I wanted to do some sort of writing activity in Italian, I knew that snippets was going to be too much. My level of Italian, I just don't think is quite there yet. I'd like it to be eventually, but I don't think it's quite there. So I thought that doing something like gratitude that was much shorter would be a more reasonable goal for me to do. And by doing gratitude and memories, I have fewer things to do every day, because currently in July, every morning I am doing gratitude. Well, I do snippets in the evening, but it's something that I do every day. So I do a couple of lines for snippets. And then I also am doing my Duolingo streak. I'm reading Serial Reader. I'm doing my 3 pages of morning pages, and I'm doing Kana Day. And honestly, it's just too much for me. So taking out snippets and only having gratitude to do every day, memories does not happen every day. I think that will help, because I really want to focus on doing morning pages, because I find them incredibly useful in terms of getting things off my mind and coming up with different ideas. So that's kind of the reasoning behind some of the changes that I'm doing for this month. If you guys have any questions or comments, even though I am going to be on vacation, I will be checking in on the comments section so I can respond to you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am going to try and post it this weekend. So today is the 18th. That means that I'm going to try and post it on the 21st, so that you will have a good week before August starts. So if you want to take any ideas for things that I've done and use them for your own August setup, hopefully you'll have enough time and you won't have already set up your month. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you like this video and you want to give it a thumbs up, please feel free to do so, and or to subscribe to my channel. I am trying to post twice a week during the week in the summer, so on Thursdays and Sundays. And I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye.